is to consider the minutes of the March 24th, 2025 meeting. There's no additions or corrections. We'll consider a motion to approve.
Move approval of the March 24th minutes.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those minutes are approved. Next up, we have Colin Alexander from BDOT to talk about the Port Infrastructure Development Program grant.
Good afternoon to the committee. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as Program Manager for the Birmingham Department of Transportation. Before you is one of our typical grant application resolutions. This is an application to the Port Infrastructure Development Program out of the Maritime Administration, better known as MERD. If you recall, a year ago, in partnership with the Port and Watco, we applied for this very same project. We were not awarded last cycle, so we're reapplying. So to recap and refresh everybody's memories, this is a $25 million grant application. The purpose of the application is to replace the two 8 cranes that are existing, one from 1927, the other from 1941. Replacing them and updating them as E-cranes. It's critical to the future of the port in terms of the activity that we can do at the port. Watco is again stepping forward and putting up the match dollars, so there's no match contribution from the city, but the city has to be the applicating entity.
Right. So the previous grant or previous NOFO was under the Inflation Reduction Act. Believed it was, related to reducing carbon emissions and that sort of thing. I'd actually mentioned that to somebody recently, and I didn't know that we hadn't been successful in securing that funding opportunity. So glad to know that you guys are still pursuing it.
Yes.
Okay. Council Woods, you got any questions?
Right. Was this the same grant that one built that warehouse, or was it?
No, so the warehouse was a different funding source, and I'm not exactly privy to that project. That would be a question for the Port Authority as to the funding source for that.
Okay.
This is specifically for the infrastructure on the wharf. I think there's also like some seawall repairs as well that are wrapped into this, but the big ticket items are updating and replacing the 2 cranes.
Okay, so no dredging involved in this at all?
That I don't know off the top of my head. That would be something we could follow up with the Port Authority and Watco to get specific about whether there's going to be dredging. I don't believe so based off of the specs of the project, but there could be if they're getting seawall, restoration, there may have to be some dredging. So.
Okay, and I guess they're tying that to increase productivity if they had more cranes?
Yeah, that's correct. They really can't, with how old the cranes are, they really can't take on a whole lot more. So this is just a step in making the port more viable.
Okay. And then, is there a match on this?
There is a match, but the match is being contributed by Watco.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So you need recommendation from the
Yes,
committee.
that is correct, and it'll go to Budget and Finance this afternoon and be on council tomorrow.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that the committee advances to the full council for approval.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye.
All right, thank you.
All right. And next up, we have Brittany Thomas and Tavarius Foster from BJCTA to talk about Max Route redesigns.
Good afternoon, Councilor Quinn, Councilor Woods. Today, we're just coming with more information again as we start our new iteration for our general sign-up, which is what our operators would do to find their new assignments for the next few months. So we just wanted to come and just present what we're actually doing for May. So if you look through the presentation, we're focusing on routes 7, which is like a Birmingham/Fairfield combo route, and then Route 48, which is entirely the city of Birmingham. So what we did was we were looking at our lowest performing routes, which is the routes that's kind of like maybe 10 passengers and below. For our fixed route, we have those buses that are, mostly meant to hold anywhere from like 35 to 50 people. But if we notice that we're only getting like 10 passengers an hour, then it's safe to say that we're not necessarily being as productive on that route. So that's why we have the alternative modes such as microtransit, because again, we don't want to just remove transportation altogether, but we want to be able to provide an alternative that still may be able to feed the needs of the community, in addition to feeding to other fixed routes that are performing a little bit better. For example, for Route 7, since that mostly encompasses the city of Fairfield and Birmingham, right where the Crossplex Transit Center is. So what we're going to do, we're just going to have it fully microtransit is what we're going to. And so that way it allows the customers to be able to, one, go across as they were not able to before, because everything had to go toward downtown or the Crossplex, missing numerous, points of interest such as Lawson State. They now can go from the city of Fairfield now. If they want to take some classes at Lawson State, they can via microtransit. The same for the grocery stores. We know that Fairfield is a big food desert. We know there are parts of city of Birmingham that has some food deserts, even though they've made strides with the Marinos as well as the food giant that is in 5 Points West. But on that further end, close to West End, they now have access to the Piggly Wiggly that's in Midfield, in addition to the other two grocery stores. So again, it gives the community a little bit more accessibility to meet their needs. And so that's what we're doing in May. And you'll also see some reasons for the decisions of doing that. We're still experiencing a operator shortage. So we're thinking outside the box. So we're doing some things that's kind of unorthodox. And we're just trying to see where we can maximize the resources that we already have. And so we see with reallocating Route 7 and 48 to mostly microtransit, then we can bring those about 4 operators back into the fold and to reallocate them into one of our higher performing routes. Also in the presentation, you'll see what's mostly like a segment maps. And so we've got with a consultant, Mr. Jim Ritchie, has helped us identify segments of the routes that are just not performing well. So that red segment there is not really doing well, but the green, blues pretty much doing okay, but anything that's yellow and red, then therefore we probably need to look at that to see if that's what the route needs to do. Due to the vision of Director Shaw and just a 70-30 plan, what we're trying to develop is to see, do we still need to do this, right? We want to take away the guessing factor of we think the route might do well here and kind of be sure that the route will approach now going forward. And that's also why I have brought Javarius Foster here, because he's the Senior Director of Customer Experience. And so now Director Shaw has also wanted us to push the community engagement. Like, that's extremely important to be able to get that feedback, the buy-in, not only from you all as our external stakeholders, but the customers as well. Because again, we want to kind of mitigate that guessing factor. Is like, we think they'll want to go here, and to just kind of know where do they want to go.
Yeah. So this has now been done, on a few different routes. I'm thinking about the former airport route and some of the North Birmingham, Kingston area. Are we seeing Max users convert to on-demand microtransit users? I've been participant in some of those community meetings. Are those folks,
Are they getting adjusted?
are they transitioning?
Yes. So we have seen that they are able to adjust and adopt microtransit, especially in the east area. That zone has done extremely well to where we see that demand has increased. Before, where I believe that zone initially started with 2 vans, I think we're up to 4 now because of that demand, and they see the value in that. We see where ridership has increased for high school students, that the fact that there's Woodlawn there in the community. We also see that they're able to access numerous grocery stores, such as the Roebuck Walmart, the Piggly Wiggly that's in Eastlake, in addition to healthcare, because that zone also goes by St. Vincent's East, which is a little further out, but that's all in that particular zone, and they're able to get to their employer. The Zion City area, where we had fixed route service years ago, but due to budget constraints, that service could no longer continue. So now we see that small areas like that now are able to catch microtransit to the Crossplex, catch the BRT, which is complimentary still, and then just getting to their points of interest. So we do see it going very well. The BRT ridership is doing easily above 25,000 rides, and that's in a month. And we also see that microtransit is a way to feed into, which is what we want. We want to, help those short distance trips, which microtransit is really good for, those trips that are 4 miles or less, which is kind of general for our routes to just kind of feed into to increase ridership on fixed route, which is what's happened with Route 25 as well. We've also seen ridership go up with that particular route as well. So again, we're just trying to make it as easy as we can for everyone, and while again maximizing the resources that we have.
So for Route 7, since that's going into Fairfield, is it correct for me to assume that Fairfield is participating in, providing microtransit to that area?
Yeah, so we had a meeting with the city of Fairfield about a few weeks ago, and they are really bought into it, even though their area is, is not generally big, and they feel that microtransit would be better for their area as compared to providing a fixed route service. And so they're really excited about it to participate. We are going to meet with Midfield as well, since those will be the 3 cities that will be involved in that microtransit zone that's outlined in the presentation. And so again, we're just getting that participation and just trying to see what else can we do going forward.
So will this be the first sort of route where somebody in Fairfield can come from a different municipality into the city of Birmingham and vice versa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually it'd be the second because of Mountain Brook.
Yes,
so the way we have that, so we have that zone set up as well as where VIA has kind of a workaround as points of interest. And because we have several people that work in the city of Mountain Brook, they can get a ride from Central Station and go to their employer in Mountain Brook. So it'd kind of be the second that we're seeing being able to go across municipalities.
That's great. That's something that there's definitely an interest in. For sure, I've heard from folks, that want to come into to downtown Birmingham from a surrounding municipality that, under our current model, excluding, Mountain Brook, and the Mountain Brook service is pretty limited too. It's not like I think it's only certain hours or something like that.
Yes, it's from 6 to 8, so they pretty much have all-day service.
Yeah.
But it doesn't encompass the whole city of Mountain Brook. It's just kind of parts of it, so that way it wouldn't go outside their budget.
Right.
So we weren't able to do the whole city of Mountain Brook.
But yeah, Councilor Williams in particular has commented to me, about folks that he's talked to that want to come to their doctor's visit and use that on-demand service. So this is a good development. It's basically the point that I'm trying to make is that cooperative type collaboration across municipalities I see that as a good thing because, you know, everybody doesn't live in the city of Birmingham, you know.
Right.
A lot of people live in the surrounding cities but, you know, either work or have some business to do, in the city of Birmingham, and they have to have transportation, you know, for that. So that's a good development.
Yeah, so we're, extremely proud of that, which is why Trey is gonna speak for a moment on the importance of just education. Like, that's what we see where we are, is that we just really need to push the education factor of it and just knowing what can you do. And so our marketing department as well, which we brought Amanda here, which is the manager of marketing and communications, about just getting that information out there to the public and being able to have something that you can take with you, something as small as a pamphlet, so that you can go step by step. So we're really invested in this education piece, and I'll let Trey come and speak to more of what they have going.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Councilor O'Quinn and Councilor Woods. Excited to speak to you all today about the awesome changes that we are having that are coming forth, the enhancements. And from a customer experience standpoint, we just want to make sure that our customers understand what's happening, that our customers understand how to ride and understands how this really benefits them. And so what I want to do is just share some of the things that we're doing. Our engagement with our community and customers will continue to increase over the months. Even after these changes come into effect, we will continue engaging and making sure customers understand. So just to run down some of the different initiatives and things that we have going on, like tonight we'll be at the Powderly Neighborhood Association meeting. Their meeting starts at 5:30 at the Henry Crumpton Recreational Center. So Brittany and I will be attending that meeting tonight along with some of our customer care ambassadors, so that people that are at that meeting we'll teach them how to download the app. Any questions they have, we'll have an informational table there that they can ask questions. Tomorrow at our intermodal facility, we'll have a community meeting. So the entire community is invited. We've been sharing information through our social media platforms. Our team at the Central Station and transit centers, they go out to the buses to make sure customers have a flyer. They see the flyer. They're also announcing it on our PA system at our transit centers and at Central Station, so that we can make sure that word is getting out. We're planning right now a meeting with Lawson State, so we're working with Lawson State. Because one thing with engagement, we know we have our meetings at our transit centers, we have our meeting at Central Station, but we want to get more in the community. We want to get out into the neighborhood. So we are working with Lawson State leaders right now to have a meeting planned at Lawson. And just the insight to some of the things we want to do in the future, each year is orientation. So, and I'll add Miles College to this. We're going to be talking with Miles College. As students come in, the e-services are in the area, so the whole community as well as the student body can benefit from these changes, because a lot of times students do not have cars. We've already spoke with Lawson State, and they've told us some of the barriers that they have there, so we're excited, and they are excited to learn more about our microtransit that's coming. Our ambassadors there at Central Station, each Tuesday there's an informational table set up, and so what they'll be doing is continuing to share this information. We have actually a survey right now going on, as Brittany stated. We want to hear more from our customers, so we have a partner with the University of Alabama in Flourish, Alabama, and we have a round of surveys out now. And so even as those surveys are being done and we continue to do surveys to get the feedback from our customers, we'll be making sure that these changes are, because really word of mouth is the biggest thing. I was telling someone at my church yesterday about it, and they already, in my church is in the Escuda area, and they already had identified 3 people. They were like, hey, I know of someone that can't necessarily stand at a bus stop for 30 minutes, but this service will help her get to her doctor's appointments or help her get to the grocery store. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're planning educational sessions. So even after this launches, we have, I think on our last meeting, I talked about our Max University. So what Max University will do is continue to educate customers. Our marketing department is creating a how-to guide for seniors, because sometimes, for them to adapt into it, you really have to give step-by-step instructions. So we want to make sure that those at New Pilgrim Towers and at Freedom Manor, that they understand, and we can make it easy for them. And we've been to some of those facilities, and we will continue to go to our senior facilities to make sure that our seniors understand that this is easy to use, that it can benefit you. We're working with Birmingham City Schools. We've already been to Woodline about a few weeks ago, and they asked us to come back because they talked about how much this can benefit their students. The students already ride the BRT, and they are already adopting into the microtransit. So we're going to not only do that at Woodline, but we're working to get into all of the Birmingham schools so that we can help students understand how to ride the system, and that it's easier than you actually think. And it's cool too. The Regional Wellness Day will be there on April 17th. The city, the Birmingham Express, people have been encouraged to ride the Birmingham Express to Regional Wellness Day. So we'll also have a table at Regional Wellness Day at the Crossplex, and we'll be sharing information. So those are just some of the things, and even from Mountain Brook standpoint, we were just talking about Mountain Brook. They're having a community day at the next Saturday, and so we'll be there. We're going to take the microtransit, the Max on Demand van out, let you sit in it, let you understand how clean it is and how awesome the service is. So we'll be there, and Brittany and I are also planning to reach out to all of the counselors to see, hey, what works in your area. I live on the east side of town, and so what works on the east may, on the west, something may work different than the east when it comes to getting the word out. So what we want to do is talk to the counselors, and if it's an event you want us to come to, if there's a community day, jazz in the park, whatever it is, what we can do to continue to engage the community and make sure the community understands what we're doing and the benefits of it.
Yeah. I just reached out to Pro Tem Alexander and told her that D7 is going to be getting microtransit. So she's been asking for that for a while,
Yeah.
so she's really excited. Thank you for, letting us know about your continuing efforts to do outreach. I know some of the other surrounding municipalities, Homewood in particular was, also considering getting into that space in the on-demand microtransit, and I think that conversation is still ongoing. But we've come a long way since December of 2019 when the Birmingham On Demand initiative first launched, and it's great to see that BJCTA is continuing to utilizes this as a mechanism to be more efficient. I'm looking at the Route 14 average ridership of 2 riders per day on the fixed route. That is a perfect candidate for conversion to on-demand microtransit. Especially when you're considering, that Palisades area, that's all Red Mountain. It's up and down. The south side is, notoriously overparked on the street. So, a lot of those streets look more like one-ways after, both sides of the street are lined with cars. I can't imagine trying to operate a 40-passenger bus, up in Glen Iris. That's great to hear that you guys keep pushing on this. So excellent. And where on-demand microtransit has been deployed for a while, especially from students and seniors, you hear from a lot of those folks how much they appreciate that type of service.
It's all right.
Council Woods, you got any questions?
No questions, but I appreciate the work y'all are doing to kind of continue to make the system more efficient. I know when I got here, I think, we had that meeting different meeting with the BJCTA around cost and services. And so one of the things we did want to see was that grow. I think the micro transit option brings a lot of value to the area. So it's good to see other areas want to lean into that and adopt that. And I think long term that presents a lot of possibilities. But I just want to kind of encourage y'all to kind of keep growing and pushing the perimeter out further and things like that. So thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the update.
Thank you.
And I'll let Counselor Alexander know that you guys were going to be at Powderly tonight, so she'll be there. Awesome. All right. Colin, you're back up for new and old business. You got an update for us?
Just one quick one. Like I said, I kind of want to do this as a recurring, keeping everybody updated on the number of projects we're going to start having under construction. So since your last meeting, we have begun work on the ARPA-funded BRT District 3 sidewalk project. So they're starting construction out on the east side of the BRT in the Woodlawn area, and are going to work their way along the BRT route. So,
Okay, now I know why they're digging up all the sidewalks out there.
yes, so like I said, that's part of the reason for this. So as more projects start construction, I'll let you guys know, but that's the only one right now that has started construction since last time.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering, they've got the segment of sidewalk from the,
Over by the railroad crossing on First
yeah,
Avenue
it's
North.
like 49th Street and First
And
Avenue
fi- and
North
then
back
50th.
to,
Yeah,
towards downtown.
Yep.
It's like, okay, that's a interesting segment because there's not a whole bunch of pedestrians there.
yeah,
but-
the idea was to support walkability around the BRT route.
Yeah,
So that's, like I said, they're starting on the east side and they'll work their way along the BRT and then get into some of the sidewalks in District 3.
okay. While we got you, so this committee, you can't come to this meeting without us asking you about traffic calming.
I figured.
And I was very glad to hear Director Fowler at his budget presentation, request funding and suggest that the Department of Transportation it would like to engage outside traffic engineering consultants to help advance or deal with the enormous backlog of requests that we have. Just first off, want to say that that's something that we suggested frequently, and glad to hear BDOT, talking about that. And hopefully the mayor's office will honor that request too. So, we often encounter people who would like to see traffic calming projects happen in their community. But when we tell them, there's already a 500 people, 500 requests ahead of you, they get pretty discouraged.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to, deal with those outstanding requests and be able to entertain some of the newer ones. So just wanted to encourage you guys in that regard. Councilor Woods, you got something for Colin?
Yeah, same thing. Well, a little bit different, but if I'm not incorrect, if I'm not wrong, y'all also requested to have third-party contractors do the installation as well?
Yeah, I believe so. In terms of Director Fowler's presentation, I'm not 100% sure. I do know that we have been working in partnership with the Department of Capital Projects about looking to bid out a project like that. I would have to go back and talk to the traffic calming team to get an update on where they are with that. But yes, no, we have heard that specifically yours, Counselor, but this body's recommendation towards that, and we've taken that strongly under consideration. And I will say publicly, when I used to run traffic calming, we would tell residents who were on the list, we're working through them as quickly as we can, and just be patient that we do take this seriously. And the same thing goes to those who are getting discouraged about there's 500 ahead of us. We're trying to be as creative as we can to move through this and to address both the concerns as well as the popularity of this program. But it's a process.
So, And Colin never misses the opportunity to make it clear that he no longer runs traffic calming. But I would ask if you could shake a tree and get the update of where things stand.
Yeah, and that probably is a capacity thing on me, and sorry about that,
We
to
understand.
the committee, but, I'll work on getting that put together for you guys in one of your next upcoming meetings.
Something I have for you, and this comes to mind because we have been graced with the presence of Miss Elizabeth Lawler from, who's Government Affairs Representative for Norfolk Southern. Welcome to have you, Miss Lawler. So that reminds me that HABD is going to be starting work on the Harris Holmes pedestrian
Yes.
tunnel. And as I understand it, you know, the part of the community engagement around that project is going to be communicating with residents in that area, that the tunnel is going to be closed while it's under construction. And, so just as a representative of the Birmingham Department of Transportation, wanted to make you aware that that project's going to be under construction this summer.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
We're gonna wait until my last speech. We're gonna wait till school's out.
right, exactly. Yeah. So don't want to interfere with kids
That was the last
going
update I had
to
received,
Oliver
too.
Elementary, although it seems like school is 12 months a year nowadays. There's certainly opportunities for folks to go to school during those traditional summer months, but in any case, HABD is making plans to make accommodation for folks to get back and forth across the railroad tracks.
Okay,
All right, great.
thank you.
All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.